Do you know what this is? Have you ever seen this before? This is a cookie cutter. There's a local place in town that make these cookies, and the cookies are delicious. They are also huge. And so when you go and order a cookie, sometimes you can't decide on what flavor cookie you want. Sometimes you feel like, gosh, could I even eat that entire cookie? And so in their genius, they created this cookie cutter to where you can cut the cookie into 4 equal parts. So you could sample different flavors, or you could eat 1/4 of the cookie at a time. We're gonna come back to this. Friends, good morning. My name is Jordanna Sadri. I'm one of the life group pastors here at our North Coast Vista campus, and we're going into my favorite season here at North Coast. Our Daily Dose series is on community because we are in fall life group season. We are doing life group signups, opportunities for you to get involved into groups of 10 to 16 people where you're gonna build authentic and real meaningful friendships centered around God's word. And it's my absolute favorite. It's my favorite because I love people, I love community, and I love seeing what God does when we get out of the rows that we sometimes sit in on a Saturday or a Sunday morning, and we get into circles and we get into community with one another. Well, our verse today is Galatians 6:2, and it's a really simple one, and it might be familiar to many of you. The verse is simply this. Galatians 6:2 says, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." If you've seen any dose, if you know me at all, you know that when I study God's word, I like to look at different versions because it helps me to understand what God is actually saying. That version is the NIV version. The ESV version says, "Bear one another's burdens." The ERV, which is the easy to read version, which I use with my kids often, says, "Help each other with your troubles." The Message version uses the word share. Share your burdens. Okay, so back to the cookie cutter. There's times in life where things are just too big for one person to handle alone. You may be in a time in your life right now. You may have been in a season where life has felt like it has just been too much for you to handle. And you know what? You might even, without knowing it, right in this moment, be going into a season where there's gonna be a lot that gets thrown at you. Well, let me flip that question. Have you been on the other side of that? Have you ever been able to experience the receiving end of taking on someone else's burdens? We've experienced both in our lives. We've had friends come and visit us at the hospital when we've been in the hospital with our 2.5-year-old son who had a surgery that went bad. They brought us meals. They prayed for us. They were with us in a really, really tough time. We've had friends take our kids for us if we've had to go and do something, if something has come up. We've had our life group, which is the best, help us move. And you know that's true love because moving is really hard. We also have been ones to help carry others' burdens. I mean, gosh, if our kitchen table could talk and just recount the conversations around just hard stuff, parents being ill, marriages that are struggling, battles of infertility, you name it, we have probably talked about it and prayed over it around our kitchen table with friends, life group members, and folks that have just needed someone to carry the burden. This verse speaks very, very clearly. It says, carry each other's burdens, and in Christian community, that is what we are called to do, is to share the load. We are not meant to eat the whole cookie. Now, if you do, I'm not gonna judge you, but when you eat the whole cookie, sometimes it just leaves you with a stomach ache and regretting the calories. Friends, even as you listen to this dose this morning, there may be a person or a couple of people that God has brought to your mind. So when this ends, send that text, make that call, pray that prayer, reach out to the person and let them know that you're willing to share the load and that you are there for them.